For decades, he has been a familiar face to millions, the smiling host of Tipping Point and Good Morning Britain, the man whose energy lights up even the dreariest weekday morning. His laughter, his empathy, his ability to connect with contestants and guests alike, it's what's made him one of the nation's most beloved presenters. But tonight, there's a silence around Ben Shephard's world that feels almost too heavy to bear. Reports have emerged suggesting that the 50-year-old presenter has been facing a deeply personal and frightening health battle, one that he's been keeping largely private. Sources close to the family describe the last few weeks as an emotional whirlwind, marked by uncertainty, hope, and above all, love. And perhaps no one has been hit harder by this devastating news than Annie Shephard, Ben's wife, and the quiet strength behind his success. Those who know Annie describe her as the calm within Ben's storm, a talented interior designer, a devoted mother, and a fiercely private woman. She's long preferred life behind the scenes, while Ben has thrived in front of the camera. But according to friends close to the couple, Annie's composure was tested like never before when she first learned the truth about Ben's condition. Annie broke down, one close friend confided. She's strong, always has been, but this was different. You could see the fear in her eyes. She wasn't just worried about losing a husband, she was terrified of losing her best friend. Despite the fear and uncertainty, Annie has reportedly remained by Ben's side day and night. She's put her design projects on hold, canceled client meetings, and even turned down public appearances, all so she can focus solely on him. Those who've seen them together describe a bond that's almost palpable. Annie holding his hand as he rests, Ben smiling, faintly through the pain, whispering that familiar phrase, "We'll get through this, like we always do." It's in these quiet, unseen moments that the true measure of their marriage shines through. Ben and Annie's story began long before the fame and flashing lights. They met in the early 1990s, back when Ben was still finding his footing in television, and Annie was carving out her path in design. Their love grew not from glitz and glamour, but from shared laughter, mutual respect, and long evenings spent dreaming about the future. In interviews, Ben has often spoken about Annie with deep affection, describing her as his anchor, his reality check, and the one who keeps my feet on the ground. Annie's never been impressed by fame, Ben once joked. She just wants to make sure I put the bins out on Thursdays. Now, as he faces what may be the biggest challenge of his life, those simple, grounding moments have taken on new meaning. Annie has reportedly transformed their home into a haven of calm, filled with light, fresh flowers, and quiet hope. She's been reading to him, cooking his favorite meals, and surrounding him with memories of the life they've built together, family photos, laughter-filled holidays, and the boys, Sam and Jack, their pride and joy. While viewers have continued to see Ben's familiar smile on screen in recent months, sources say much of that has been an act of courage. Insiders from ITV describe how, even during filming of Tipping Point, Ben occasionally appeared tired or distracted, something fans also began to notice. Some viewers took to social media asking whether he was overworking himself or needing a break. At the time, Ben dismissed it with good humor, insisting he was just fine. But behind the camera, friends reveal the reality was more complicated. A long-standing injury from years ago had begun to flare up again, one that, according to reports, had previously required surgery. The pain returned with a vengeance, spreading, exhausting him, and leading doctors to run deeper tests. Those tests, insiders say, revealed something far more serious than anyone expected. When the truth came out, Annie was reportedly the first to say, "Work can wait, family can't." She encouraged Ben to take time off, to rest, to recover, to remember that he's more than a presenter, more than a TV face. He's a husband, a father, and a man whose health matters most. Friends of the couple say their sons Sam and Jack have been remarkable during this period. While still young, they've stepped up with maturity far beyond their years, helping around the house, making their dad laugh, and offering comfort in the small, tender ways that only children can. Ben always said his greatest success wasn't his career, it was the family he and Annie built together. and now they're the ones keeping him strong. As word of Ben's condition began to circulate quietly through the entertainment industry, tributes and messages of support started flooding in. His Good Morning Britain co-stars, including Kate Garraway, Susanna Reid, and Richard Arnold, have reportedly been in close contact, checking in daily. Kate, who knows all too well the pain of watching a loved one fight for their health, has been a particularly steadfast friend. "Ben's the heart of this place," one NTV colleague said. "We're all rooting for him. Everyone just wants to see him back to his old self, laughing, joking, being Ben." Fans, too, have turned social media into a sea of love. Under hashtags like "Pray for Ben Shephard" and "Stay Strong Ben," thousands have shared stories of how his kindness touched their lives, whether through a kind word on Tipping Point or a heartfelt moment on Good Morning Britain. One fan wrote, "Ben Shephard isn't just a presenter, he's the reason I start my mornings with a smile." Behind the scenes, Annie has been the glue holding everything together. Friends say she's exhausted, emotionally drained, and often running on little sleep, but she refuses to leave Ben's side for long. Whether at home or in hospital, she's there, reportedly talking to him, holding his hand, whispering words of love and reassurance. Hospital staff have described the couple's bond as unshakable. Even during the most uncertain moments, Annie's focus has never wavered. She's also been fiercely protective, not only of Ben, but of their children and their privacy. While the media has begun to circling, Annie has chosen silence over spectacle. "She's a private woman," said one insider. "She believes that love and healing belong behind closed doors, not on front pages." But those who know her best say her composure hides immense emotion. Friends have seen her break down, quietly, away from the children, her tears flowing not from fear, but from the overwhelming weight of love. In recent weeks, Ben has said to have been deeply reflective. He's reportedly told friends that this experience has changed how he sees the world, that it's made him grateful for every sunrise, every laugh shared with Annie, every family dinner that once seemed ordinary but now feels sacred. "It's funny," he reportedly said to a friend, "you spend years chasing success, then something like this happens and you realize it was never about the career, it was always about them." Doctors are said to be cautiously optimistic. Treatment is ongoing, and while the road ahead is uncertain, Ben's spirit, that trademark mix of humor and humility, remains unbroken. Those closest to him say he still cracks jokes with nurses, still asks about football scores, and still thanks every member of staff by name. It's that quiet grace that's defined him his whole career, and now, more than ever, it's defining him as a man. For Annie, this experience has been life-changing. Friends say she's learned to slow down, to savor the smallest things, the sound of Ben's laughter, the way sunlight falls across their kitchen table, the soft hum of the television when they watch a film together. She's even started writing a journal, a way to process everything, and to remind herself that even in pain, there's beauty. "She believes that love is what's keeping them both strong," said one close friend. "She told me, we've been through so much together. This is just another chapter, and we're going to write it with hope." Across Britain, the story of Ben and Annie Shephard has struck a powerful chord. Newspapers have called it a reminder of what really matters. Fans from every corner of the country have sent letters, gifts, and drawings from children. ITV has reportedly received hundreds of messages from viewers simply saying, "Tell Ben we love him." It's a reflection not only of his fame, but of his goodness. Ben Shephard has always been more than a presenter. He's a part of Britain's family, a symbol of warmth, laughter, and kindness. The latest reports suggest that Ben's condition has stabilized. Doctors remain cautiously positive, and those closest to him say he's responding well to treatment. Annie continues to stand firm, her strength unwavering, her love undimmed. She's told friends that this ordeal has reminded her of the fragility of life and the importance of gratitude. She said to whisper to Ben every night before he sleeps, "We still have so much to look forward to." And that, perhaps, is the heart of this story. Not tragedy, but resilience. Not fear, but faith. Not endings, but the promise of more mornings together. In a world often consumed by headlines and gossip, this story brings us back to something simple and sacred: love. It reminds us that beneath the glamour of television and fame, there are real hearts, real fears, and real devotion. Then Shephard's journey is far from over, and if there's one thing we know about him, it's that he faces every challenge with the same quiet courage that made Britain fall in love with him in the first place. So tonight, as fans across the nation send their love, one message rings louder than all the rest. Stay strong, Ben. We're with you. And to Annie, the woman behind the man, the steady heart behind the smile, your grace, courage, and love are an inspiration to us all.